Today I'm going to be showing you how I use Quizlet in my classroom and how you might could use Quizlet in yours too. To begin with, Quizlet is a web-based tool that allows you to create study tools, which are interactive flashcards that you can also study with, and there are several games that are built into Quizlet to help you study and learn the content of your study sets. The first thing I want to go over is once you've made your account, and I do use the free version, this is your home page of Quizlet. So if you were to click up here, you can see this plus sign. If I want to say, first of all, I want to make a class. So for this, I'm just going to create a name for this class. It's just going to ask you what you want to name it and then where you located. And then all you do is click create class. So once you have your class created, one thing I wanted to point out first is if you go here where the three little dots are and click edit, it's going to bring you up to this page. And this is where you can edit your name, add a description if you want, but this is something important for specifically teachers who are using this with their students. So you can allow class members to add and remove sets. So I usually always uncheck that because I don't need my students removing a set of flashcards that I've created. And I also don't want them inviting just any new members. They have to be invited in order to access the class and what decks I've put in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and click save. As you can see here, the only way that students can access the class is by inviting them to the class. You would just copy this link and send it to them. One thing I also want to point out, I teach third grade, so my students have to have parental consent, and their parents actually have to create an account for them because they're under the age of 16. But if your students are over 16, then they can create their own account. But you cannot, as a teacher, you cannot create an account for them. They have to have one already. So within Quizlet, you can either, your sets are what your students are going to learn. So let's click add a set. You can either click create a new set or from the sets that you've already done. I'm just going to show you, for example, how you create a new set. Here it's going to show you that you can name it. So let's just say we want to call it math terms. I can add a description. You don't have to. And let's just say I want to make some flashcards like addition means to. And then sometimes it will like autofill and you can actually choose the definition as well. So this one, you can create many different flashcards. You can add images to the flashcards that you create. I'm going to show you how to create a set from one that you've already created, maybe that you've just did and you didn't assign it to that class. So this is the set that I created and I've added it to this class. So let's go ahead and click on that. You can see here when I'm in the class, it shows that, the teacher is out of the set. So I just want to show you what it's going to look like. So these are your flashcards. You can flip them and just click to go back and forth. You can also scroll down here and it shows you the ones that you have already learned and mastered, the ones that you have not studied yet. It's kind of just like an overview of all the flashcards in your study set. And one of the cool things that I do as a teacher is I like to do Quizlet Live. So you can select either random teams or individuals, and it becomes a game that you can play with students. That's something that I do that's really engaging because students don't always feel like they're necessarily doing flashcards. They just feel like they're playing a game or competing against their friends. The match version of Quizlet gives me all the terms in this set. Alright, so let's say I want to match exotic. If I go over here to that one, it's going to show me that it's no. So I need to now find the right definition for exotic. So it lit up green and it went away. So now it takes away as I get them right. And also, if you look up here, it shows you the seconds. It'll do this until all the cards are gone. I'm not going to complete the whole thing just for time's sake, but there's also different features such as Quizlet Learn. And it takes you through all of the while it takes you through all the flashcards, and then you're trying to choose the correct answer. A collection of live wild animals. Let's just say, pretend we don't know this and it means to regulate. It's going to say, no sweat, you're still learning. It will also show you the correct answer, and then you can move on to another flashcard. So it gives automatic feedback. And it does it all over again. There's even a button down here that says don't know. So if your students feel like they really don't know one, they can click this and it will show them the right answer, and then they will have the opportunity to come back to this later. Something about Quizlet too is that you don't have to create your own sets to use them. You can also use sets that are created by other people as long as they're set to public. For example, if I wanted to find a study set on animal adaptations, I can click search. You can preview them. Let's see. It shows you the different terms and flashcards and images that's going to say. So let's say this was what you were looking for. You can click study, and you can study that as if you were learning it. Or if you click on it and scroll down here to where you see this right here, it's going to click save and edit. So you can duplicate this set and then edit it and attach it to your own class. And then you'll just click create, and it'll be in your class. Something else you can do is you can click share. So if you wanted to send like the specific Quizlet deck to Google Classroom, you could send it, or you could even send it to parents if you use Remind. You can also send a link or an email with a link. Class progress is a really neat feature, and it kind of just shows you where your students are at with learning, but it does not come with the free version. It is something that you would have to pay for. Students can use Quizlet to study their flashcards at home or at school, especially if they're in school and you're wanting to play a game or do Quizlet live. That's a great thing that you can do. I personally love Quizlet. I've used Quizlet as a learner myself and as a teacher, especially when there's a lot of different terms that I need to remember, especially like more lower level terms like recall type of questions that I need. I feel like Quizlet is really good for, because it allows you to engage with the content in a fun way. It doesn't always feel like you're actually sitting here learning, and I think that's great for students. I feel like teachers at any grade level can implement Quizlet. It's great for my students at 3rd grade, but I've also used it when I taught 6th grade virtual. It's something I've used as a student in high school. It's something I've also used as a student in college. I make a lot of my own study sets. I look for others depending on the subject. When I took anatomy and physiology, it was great for remembering terms. And overall, I just really think that Quizlet has so many different uses that you could use and implement in your classroom.